Okay, we're working with the IT now. They're working with with Mr. Ming to get everything on the same page, and we will start in about a minute. Thank you. Chairwoman, I am in contact with Mr. Maricanda and Mr. Akmuntag. They're having a little difficulty. They are on the phone with IT. Once that is completed, I will get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Chairwoman, this is Commissioner Routine, and I'm here. I'm sorry for late.
It's okay, Commissioner, we didn't start yet, we're waiting, we are having some difficulties here.
No.
So you're good, okay.
Alright, thank you.
Okay, commissioners, they had to log out and they're logging back in. So give them a few moments. I'm sorry for the inconvenience and I apologize. Northrop, are you ready?
Yes.
Court reporter, I'm Linda Lopez, we are ready. Good evening, welcome to the Paterson Planning Board of Adjustment on Monday, January 11th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. Chairwoman Northrop.
Yes, Maggie, this is, the planning board. I thought you said Board of Adjustments.
I truly apologize, I'm gonna repeat that as well. This is a special meeting of the Planning Board, City of Paterson, on Monday, January 11th, 2021.
Thank you. Are you ready? Are we all ready now?
Yes, we are, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, would everyone please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States
of
of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under
under
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, please be seated. Okay, everybody please mute your mics so there's no echoing. Okay, commissioners, planning board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as chairwoman of the City of Paterson's Planning Board, I call this meeting of 1/11/20 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Meeting Law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Paterson clerk, that the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on 10/24/20 in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file at the Planning Board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the Planning Board at this meeting. The procedures tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the Planning Board at its office in the municipal complex in the City of Paterson. Roll call, please.
Commissioners, good evening and welcome to the Planning Board meeting. Commissioners, Commissioner Ahmed is absent. Commissioner Brooks?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Savalos?
Here.
Please, put your cameras on, please, for the public. Commissioner Cleaves?
I'm present.
Thank you. Commissioner Santana?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Savalos, I called you, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Issa is absent. Commissioner Udine?
I'm here, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Commissioner Cook?
Present.
Councilman Kalik? Is absent. Commissioner Vice Chairman Fisher? Is absent, and Chairwoman Northrop.
Here.
We have 7 commissioners present this evening. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. Notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act addressing effective coronavirus measures on the next public meeting, consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107 given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020 by Governor Philip D. Murphy, the Planning Board of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to NJSA 10:4-8, commencing on April 15, 2020. Though there may potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the City Council Chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey, in-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with the said Executive Order Number 107, public participation will be available by calling 973-321-1579, and the meeting ID number is 711 1680001, and I will repeat that later. Planning Board special meeting on Monday, January 11th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. on the date and time that the meeting is scheduled to commence. The public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson, www.patersonnj.gov, and following the email link for the meeting, www.patersonnj.gov/planning-board. Okay, Mr. Mariconda, are you representing the applicant this evening?
Yes, good evening. I'm on behalf of Paterson Charter School for Science and Technology.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Paterson Charter School for Science and Technology, 32-46 East 35th Street, Block 8307, Lot 2, 633-637 11th Avenue, Block 8307, Lot 4, and 39-53 East 34th Street, Block 8307, Lot 6. The applicant proposes to operate a charter school within a former commercial building. The Paterson Arts and Science Charter School has approximately 300 students in grades kindergarten through 4th grade and will occupy the entire building. 39 parking spaces are provided, and the building contains approximately 8,288 square feet and lot area of 47,500 square feet. This proposal is located within the R1 one-family residential district, and the variances are requested for lot area and front yard and side yard setback requirements, and it requires conditional use approval, site plan approval, and bulk variances. Mr. Deutsch, can we have your review, please? Your mic is on. Your mic is on. Okay, thank you.
Did Mr. Mariconda enter his appearance?
Yes.
Okay. Property taxes and sewer charges are paid to date. The applicant has been requested to provide the names and addresses of all persons that have 10% or more ownership interest in the Paterson Charter School for Science and Technology. Dykstra and Walker Design Group has provided a 5-page site plan dated August 25th, 2020. Sheet 1 of 5 is the cover page and it indicates the zoning and parking requirements, the key map, and notes. The key map indicates that the proposal is located on the north side of 11th Avenue, on the east side of East 34th Street, and on the west side of East 35th Street. McLean Boulevard, also known as Route 20, is located 710 feet to the north of this proposal. Sheet 2 of 5 is the boundary and topographic survey plan. Lot 4 is an undeveloped lot and has frontage of 75 feet on 11th Avenue, a rear lot line that also measures 75 feet, and eastern and western side lot lines that measure 100 feet each. The lot has area of 7,500 square feet. Lot 2 contains the existing commercial building and has frontage of 200 feet on East 35th Street, a rear lot line that also measures 200 feet, and northern and southern lot lines that measure 100 feet each. The lot has area of 20,000 square feet. Lot 6 contains the existing parking for the commercial building and has frontage of 200 feet on East 34th Street, a rear lot line that also measures 200 feet, and northern and southern lot lines that measure 100 feet each. The lot has area of 20,000 square feet. A residential dwelling is located on the southeast and southwest corners of 11th Avenue and East 34th Street, and 11th Avenue and East 35th Street. A 6-store shopping plaza is located directly and adjacent north of the site with access to Route 20. 11th Avenue and East 35th Street are two-way streets. East 34th Street is a one-way street in a southerly direction. Sheet 3 of 5 is the site layout plan. On Lot 4, the applicant proposes playground equipment and benches. On Lot 2, the applicant proposes to add an additional door from the building to East 35th Street and a proposed dumpster and pad to the northern side of the building. New curb and sidewalk will also be installed on East 35th Street. On Lot 6, the applicant proposes changes to the driveway and parking lot. 10 parking spaces that appear to exist within the right-of-way of East 34th Street will be removed. The 3 existing access driveways will become more defined by installing new concrete curb and sidewalk along East 34th Street where none currently exists. The 3 internal access driveways will have the standard internal aisle width of 24 feet. The 39 standard-sized parking spaces include 2 handicap accessible parking spaces. A note on the plan indicates that student drop-off and pickup is to take place on East 34th Street. An email received on December 23, 2020 from the applicant's architect, Mr. Nasser Al-Mukhtar, states that testimony will be provided at the public hearing. The buses will drop off and pick up children on East 31st Street, while East 34th Street will be for parent drop-off and pickup only. As the distance from the drop-off pickup area to the front of the building on East 35th Street is over 100 feet, the applicant should provide information as to how children will be escorted from drop-off and to pick-up vehicles through and from the parking lot and into and out of the building. Sheet 4 of 5 is the lighting and landscaping plan. New fencing is to be placed along the front and side of Lot 4 and the sides of Lot 6 and the north side of Lot 4. New spruce trees are to be placed around the playground of Lot 4, and juniper and laurel shrubs are to be placed on Lot 6. Wall-mounted lights are to be placed on the building, and pole-mounted lights are to be placed in the playground and within the parking area. Sheet 5 of 5 is the construction notes and details plan. Heritage Medicine Architecture and Seth Ari have prepared a 2-page drawing. Drawing number A-100 is the proposed floor plan. In addition to the 12 classrooms indicated, there is a cafeteria and a cafeteria service area, a teacher's lounge, an IT room, restrooms, storage, and a utility basement room, a music and art room, counselor and nurses rooms, an ESL room, a special ed room, the principal's office, a meeting room, and secretarial and security areas. For an A101, indicate the front, rear, and side elevations. The front elevation faces East 34th Street. The existing front facade is to receive a new facade as indicated on the plan. The rear elevation indicates that new windows are to be installed and that the existing doors are to be replaced. The right side elevation facing the strip mall will have its stucco painted and windows replaced. The left side elevation facing 11th Avenue will have the stucco repainted. The parking requirements for an elementary school are 1 parking space for each classroom and 4 spaces in total for the non-teaching administrative staff. In addition, an auditorium or gymnasium requires 1 space for every 75 square feet of floor space. The applicant has indicated that they require 16 parking spaces based on 12 classrooms and 4 administrative spaces, and that they are providing 39 off-street parking spaces. If the cafeteria is to be used as auditorium or gymnasium space, the applicant shall make it known at the public hearing. Schools are a conditional use in the R1 residential zone. 2 acres are required and 1.10 acres exists, or 47,500 square feet. The applicant is within the other remaining requirements of section 500-5.7 pertaining to schools in residential districts, with the exception of 2 existing conditions for the front yard setback along East 35th Street and the southern side yard setback. 10 feet is required on both and 0 feet exists on both. A traffic report dated December 29, 2020 and prepared by Simoff Engineering Associates was received by the Planning and Zoning Division on January 4, 2021 and sent to the city traffic engineer on the same date. Simoff Engineering will provide testimony on the traffic report they prepared at the public hearing. The applicant proposes hours from 8 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Monday through Friday. The plans have been sent to the city engineer for review and approval. Shall be responsible the applicant in order to prepare the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. Surrounding land use. This school is located in the east side section of the city. The area is predominantly residential. The MU mixed-use zone is located to the north. A 6-store shopping plaza with access to Route 20 is located immediately to the north of this proposal. Concluding remarks. The applicant estimates the cost of this construction at approximately $250,000. I also have received an email from the city traffic engineer Wednesday, January 6th, that was sent to the commissioners. I will read it into the record from Mr. Hung Chao Yu, the city traffic engineer. In reviewing the traffic impact study based on the provided site sketch and my field visit, here are my comments. Number one, I basically agree to the conclusions made at the intersections of 11th Avenue at both East 34th Street and East 35th Street, although some of the data is collected on non-typical weekdays, which should be on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Number two, somehow the study is missing the LOS analysis for 11th Avenue eastbound approach at East 34th Street. Item number three, I assume the charter school is for low-grade students so that student parking is not needed. Lastly, item four, he does not like the student drop-off zone designed on the easterly side of East 34th Street where occupancy and block, where buses may block the 3 active driveways to the site. That is your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Yes, I just have one quick question. I don't know whether it's just what I received or if it's missing on everyone's packet, but I don't see the last page, with the chart that shows you variances are required, so forth and so on.
As this was a conditional use, I did not include the chart. I addressed the variances requested in item number 15, Chairwoman.
Okay, I see it. Okay, all right, so this is where we look for it. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay,
Thank you as well, Chairwoman.
I'm sorry?
I said thank you as well, Cheryl.
Yeah, okay, you're welcome. I'm going to call Mr. Mariconda now. Mr. Mariconda?
You hear us?
Everybody else who's not talking right now besides me, please shut off your mic because there's a lot of echoing.
Okay, Chairwoman, can you mute yourself as well? We'll mute, and let's see if we can get him. If not, I'll have Ryan help. Thank you.
Yep, okay, I'll mute.
Conda, Alan Mariconda, do you hear me, Master?
We hear you.
Yes, we
Okay.
do. We
Alright,
started
so-
video too.
We started video on another phone. On another,
So, in the interim, Mr. Mariconda, please have a little hesitation for the chairwoman to get on and then let her get off. This is about her route taking over the meeting because there is interruption, okay?
Okay, so Mr. Mariconda, you may proceed, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening again, Commissioners. Sorry for the delay on the technical side of our end here, but we're ready to proceed. Thank you for hearing us on a special meeting basis. Number one, we appreciate Mr. Deutsch's report. It's very detailed and very self-explanatory in terms of the nature of the project. We will be addressing each of the points that he has raised. Our order of proceeding, we have several witnesses. Will be Nasser as the architectural witness. We have Mr. Mark Walker of Dykstra and Walker as our site plan testimony, as well as Hal Simoff on the traffic report submitted to the board that Mr. Deutsch referenced. And of course, the applicant, Mr. Ali Riza, R-I-Z-A, will be our concluding witness. If he is needed before his call up as the last witness, please let us know. What I'll try to do is give you a quick overview about the background of the applicant at the beginning, and he can supplement this during the course of his testimony as well. This applicant is not a stranger to Paterson. We have 3 active charter schools successfully proceeding with the city. So this, the board deems appropriate, would be the 4th project for this nonprofit entity within the city of Paterson. Very experienced group of professionals ready to proceed on a very positive site, we believe, for this particular project. As the board knows, in the R1 residential zone throughout the city of Paterson, there are many school locations, both standard public and charter, and also parochial as well. So we think this is an ideal site for this particular type of proposal. We'll be talking about the hours and the program. Generally, it's about approximately an 8 a.m. start, approximately a 3:15 to 3:20 departure. And the testimony will be presented to you regarding the staggered drop-offs of the children at the beginning and pickups at the end of the day. Again, we have a very substantial parking lot, as Mitch alluded to, and we're ready to explain to you how we expect to use the parking lots and the driveways in a very successful manner, with professional monitoring of the children at all stages of their school day, from arrival to departure. Again, children of the younger grades, we expect primarily 2nd and 3rd grade children to be involved in the use of this site. And the applicant decided to say that they have a lot of interest in this site for children to register for the next school year on this site as well already. One thing that the applicant will talk about as well is there are buses that will be provided by the school. We have 2 54-seat buses. There will be parent drop-offs. Many of the children and parents will be within walking distance as well. And there is, of course, public transportation along 10th and 11th Avenue, as you know. So with all that background, we're going to proceed with the professional testimony, but I wanted to give you some insight as to the nature of the operation as well. First, I'm going to call Nasser Amatar as our first witness. Thank you.
Good evening, Chairwoman Norton, Chairwoman
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
For council, number 2, the applicant has been requested to provide the names and addresses of all persons.
Commissioner, I was just about to address that.
Okay.
Mr. Zanayas? Yeah, Mr. Acquaviva will address that, and what else?
Also, I read, I have a pleasure to read 35 pages traffic report, and also from my colleague here, they comment from our traffic engineer, so that also I need to have someone to address that, because very expensive. I don't know if they have anything to do with it, but I appreciate the fact that someone took the time to provide today's body 35 pages of traffic
Okay, well, we
education.
this report, and there will be professional testimony, as I alluded to, which will be in support of that testimony by Mr. Al Simoff. And that was provided to Mr. Deutsch in more than substantial amount of time for his review. So we're ready to provide that professional testimony, of course. And with regard to the entity ownership, this is a nonprofit entity. So there's only a board of directors. I can provide the names of the board of directors members. Mr. Riza can do that if you want to have them sworn in first. At this time, Madam Chair, it's up to you.
No, I think it was the chairwoman or the council to let us know how can we do that. Those are my concerns.
Right, I agree. Okay.
Yes, also the 35-page traffic, well done, because as of the day, as of the times, the frequency of the traveling, how many cars, how many heavy trucks and everything. So I was really appreciated to have someone take the time to really provide a study. So that's the only thing I will have concern with it.
Alright, okay, you're quite welcome. Well, I'm sure, Mr. Maricondo will call the traffic person. In the meantime, Mr. Aquaviva, please, ask your question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Maricondo, so you're saying that the list of the Board of Trustees, you provided that to Mr. Deutsch?
No, apparently we did not. I thought we had, but we can keep those cards right now.
Okay, so is it your client, and I guess your client can testify to this.
Right, right.
Is essentially, there's no ownership of this company per se. There's no one who has more than 10% ownership.
Right.
It's governed by a board of trustees and a board of directors. What was that?
Board of Directors.
There's some kind of tax place. I don't know, where's that coming?
Go ahead, Mr. Maricondo, if you could.
Do you want us to put those names on the record now?
Well, my question to you is that the only ownership entity in this particular applicant? There's no one who has percentage ownership in this applicant.
But I have been advised, I can call Mr. Reiser right now to have him confirm it.
Okay. Mr. Deutsch, do you want me to put those names on the record now? Or do you want me to just condition, if the application is approved, condition upon those names being submitted?
Your mic is off. Mr. Deutsch.
I have the list of 7 names.
Well, I thought we had sent it in, that's why I was surprised to hear it again.
But I was confused as to whether the board of trustees is the same as an ownership structure.
No ownership. There's no ownership structure.
There is no other ownership structure for this type of entity. I'm not an accountant, but I don't think that there's anything more we could add, but.
This is a
Okay. Mr. Maricondo, you don't have to go out of order that you were going to take testimony.
Okay.
But when you put that individual on, if you can just clarify that for the board, but you don't have to take him out of order.
I'll have to definitely talk about that, yes.
Okay, so Mr. Maricondo, please call your first witness.
Okay, call Nasser Amatar.
Good evening.
Good evening. Please. Go ahead.
You swear upon the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
State your full name for the record.
Nasser Al-Mukhtar, Nassir Almukhtar.
Just please state your credentials for the record.
Sure. I'm a principal at Heritage Madison Architecture. I'm a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey.
Okay, that's all I need, thank you. We accept you as an expert witness, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, your testimony will be limited to the architectural renderings, and they are going to be posted by your colleague at this time?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you want to confirm that he's doing that? Or?
Joseph, can you start sharing the screen, please, if you hear us?
Joe?
Joe, can you? Yeah.
Yes, they're up, we see them.
Okay. So our architectural presentation is consistent of 2 sheets. The first one is the title, which depicts the floor plan. The floor plan is of the existing office warehouse that's going to be converted. There is no addition proposed to this, to the footprint of the existing structure. The existing structure is over 18,000 square feet. And the work proposed is to provide a mostly interior alteration in order to change the use from a warehouse to a school. We would have a total of 12 classrooms. The total, as mentioned by Mr. Maricondo, there would be mainly this campus is intended for 2nd and 3rd graders. They have a lot of demand for those grades. The capacity would be for approximately 288 students that would be occupying
this school. The 12 classrooms are between 627 and 607, almost 700 square feet. So each classroom would take approximately 24 students. It's sufficient for 24 students. Those are the main spaces, the classrooms actually, and then we have, of course, an entry area with a security guard place. There's a secretary meeting room, and there are the admin offices, the principal, special education, music, art, storage. So the typical spaces that are required for an elementary school. There's a counselor, there's a nurse room, an IT room, also a teacher's lounge. And then there's the bathrooms for students and special bathrooms for the staff. And also there is a 2,500, a little over 2,500 square feet of cafeteria. The cafeteria would be used basically mainly for, you know, the students' lunch hour, but maybe sometimes it would be used for some meetings that require, the space requires it. The main entrance is facing west, facing East 34th Street. However, there would be also a secondary entrance and exit to the cafeteria. So the students that are coming from the East 35th Street side, they would be entering through the cafeteria. So they don't have to go around to get to the main entrance area. So maybe that answers one of the concerns that Mr. Deutsch had. You know, I think that the layout is sufficient for this capacity. It's a good size, has a good size footprint, over 18,000 square feet, as I mentioned. The lot area is also fairly large. It's 47,500. Although the conditional use requires 2 acres, but I think in Paterson, especially in this area, 47,500 is really plenty for this application. In terms of the switch to the second drawing, second sheet, we are providing some new windows. And, you know, we're going to provide some landscaping, new windows. There's also going to be an awning canopy that would be extending all the way to East 34th Street. Later on, we can show some color renderings that depict that canopy in order to provide safe and covered access for the children when they walk that distance. The canopy is depicted on the top elevation, on the top drawing. And we're also going to provide some, you know, obviously there's going to be a repointing, power washing, and facade enhancement of the existing facade.
Just to interrupt you for a moment, this is a vacant warehouse at the present time, right?
Yes.
So this was a use that was not serving the intended uses of a residential zone in the past.
That's absolutely correct.
Right.
The school is a much closer use that is in line with the R1 rather than having a warehouse there.
And as I know many of the commissioners are aware, schools are inherently beneficial use under New Jersey case law and statutory law. So we're hoping to come more into conformity with the needs of an R1 zone.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, that's basically, that concludes my testimony. As I mentioned, my work scope for this application is for the building, and there will be more experts coming up.
Right, so that would conclude Mr. Amatar's testimony. Again, it's limited in nature this evening to the design that he described tonight. As I said, there'll be substantial site plan and traffic testimony. But of course, if anyone has questions of him, he's very much available at this time.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Maricondo, who would your next witness be?
It will be Dykstra and Walker.
And
Plan.
He's the planner?
A site, engineering site plan preparer and expert.
Okay, he's not the traffic study person.
Gentleman will be third.
Alright, so I'm gonna ask you to call the next witness, then I will open it up to the public and then to our commissioners for the sake of time, because you have quite a few witnesses, so I'm gonna do 2 at a time if possible.
Sure, thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we'll call Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker.
Hello, everybody.
Hello?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. My name is Mark Walker, W-A-L-K-E-R. I'm a principal at Texture Walker Design Group, and I'm a licensed practicing professional engineer in the state of New Jersey.
Alright, we will accept you as an expert witness. Okay, please proceed, Mr. Maricondo.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Somebody, excuse me, I hear somebody's mic. I'm gonna turn mine over, I hear somebody else's mic is on, I hear background stuff.
Is your television on? Please mute your microphone.
Yeah, I hear something, thank you. I'm gonna turn mine off,
I know who it is, just, if you hear me, I don't wanna, you can shut it off. Just for 10 minutes.
everybody's on, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, let me just proceed. We have prepared the survey work as well as the site engineering for the project. We prepared a set of site plans. There are 5 sheets submitted for this application. Property is located in the R1 zone between East 34th Street and East 35th Street. And schools are an allowable conditional use in the zone. Currently, actually, Joseph, is there a way you can bring up the aerial photograph of the existing conditions?
I don't see it yet. There we go. These were the same plans we just saw, I believe. Okay, there you go.
Okay, perfect. Okay, as you can see, alright, so currently there's a commercial development that exists on lot 6 and 2 with an 18,288 square foot building and parking lot. As part of the application, lot 4 has been purchased and combined into the property. It actually has frontage on 11th Avenue and it's vacant. As you can see, that wooded area directly adjacent to the building. The main access to the site is from East 34th Street to the parking area in the front of the building. The back of the building fronts on East 35th Street. The building itself was actually constructed on the right-of-way line, on the front of the building as well as the left side of the building. So there's actually 0 setbacks for the building as it exists today for the front of the building and the left side. East 34th Street is a one-way street heading southbound away from Route 20. And East 35th Street is a 2-way traveled access. With respect to lots 2 and 6, they were basically overbuilt for the zone and have 94% coverage with respect to buildings and pavement. But by adding lot 4 into the project, the overall coverage has been reduced below 80% for all 3 lots, which is the requirement for the zone, maximum requirement for the zone. Joseph, if you could move to the next slide, which I believe is the similar aerial photograph with the proposed improvements on it.
Yeah, sir, can you mute your mic, please? I hear paper shuffling.
Nobody's touching any paper here.
If there is anyone else who is online, can you please mute your mic?
Next is mic is still on.
Joseph, can you move to the next slide? Showing the area with the proposed rendering on top. There you go. All right, so this is an aerial photograph with the proposed building, parking, and playground area superimposed over the top. So with respect to our proposal, we'll be converting the existing building to a charter school. There's adequate parking within the front parking lot. When we did these site plans originally, there was a discussion of 16 teachers. Currently now, there are 20 teachers that would be proposed within the building. Regardless, we still have 39 parking spaces, which is more than adequate to function for daily use for the site. The site will be updated to meet ADA requirements. There will be 2 handicap parking spaces and compliant accessibility from the parking lot to the building to meet the ADA requirements. The entire lighting that exists on the site will be removed and replaced with new lighting. The entire site will be refreshed with new landscaping. And we'll be adding in a playground as well. The property will also have fencing around the entire perimeter with gates in certain locations. The fencing has been added as a safety measure around the playground and connecting the parking lot and the building to complete the closure. Drop off and pickup, actually we're looking at kind of a close-up of the drop off and pickup area. As you can see, there is an extended canopy that goes from the front door. Actually, if we could go back to the other slide, that'd be better. We can see the extended canopy that goes from the front door out to the street. As you go closer to the front door, you can see handrails. We've got a sloped ramp area in there. That's on a 1-on-12, which meets the ADA requirements. It comes down to a larger flat, what we would call a gathering area that's covered. Students can stay in that area until their ride comes, and then they can load in to the vehicles. We have provided, as you can see with the striping, we've provided enough area for the cars to be out of the traffic pattern. And Mr. Simoff will talk a lot more about the functioning of drop-off and pickup. My purpose is just to make everybody aware of where it is. He will actually discuss more in detail about the actual function of that. Also in the front, where the main gate is located, there'll be a 6x4.5 foot high digital sign at the main area that'll have information put on it on a daily basis. As you can see, the fencing and the gates leading to the pedestrian access, leading to the gathering area, and then also into the front door. If we could go back to the aerial image with the site plan on there, that'd be great, Joseph. Looking to the very back of the building, you can see 2 yellow rectangles. That's the area where the buses will be dropping off and picking up. Also in the back of the building, in the north alley, which is the alley that's actually closest to Route 20 on that side of the building. We're going to have dumpsters in that area. Garbage trucks will park in the same area as the buses, and they'll be able to collect the garbage area as well. And as I mentioned when I was discussing the existing conditions, the back of this building along Route 35 is right on the right-of-way line. As you can see, we're proposing a couple of canopies that will cover the doors, the two main doors that enter off on Route 35. Those canopies actually extend out into the right-of-way line.
I believe you mean 35th Street, there is no Route 35.
No, sorry, yes, East 35th Street.
Okay, thank you.
So as discussed, we did have some variances, the lot area. We've done the best we could to increase the size of the lot by picking up lot 4. The combined 3 properties are at 1.09 acres, where 2 acres is allowed. As I mentioned, front yard setback off from East 35th Street is 0 feet, where 10 feet's required, and the setback on the southerly side, the side yard setback is 0 feet, where 10 feet's required. Both of those are pre-existing non-conforming conditions. I believe that the canopies I showed off from East 35th Street may also require variance because they are extending into the right-of-way. And then the canopy with the gathering area extending out to East 34th Street is a half a foot from the right-of-way line, where I believe 10 foot is required. So that may also trigger an additional variance. But that is my testimony. I'd be glad to take any questions you may have.
Thank you. So at this time, I'm going to open up questions to the public first, and I'm going to stress that if you have any comments on this particular application, please save them for the end. You'll have time to make your comments at the end. In the meantime, this is strictly for questions on the 2 witnesses that appeared, Mr. Nasser, who's the architect, and Mr. Walker. Okay, so anyone from the public, somebody's got I'm having a hard time hearing here. Somebody's got something on the background here. Okay, so if anyone from the public has any questions,
Intervene, I'm sorry, before we even do this, there is there. Who you are, you need to stop. You just can't mute yourself. Everyone mute themselves. Well, the chairman talks, please. Thank you.
Okay, so in any event, if anyone from the public has any questions of either one of the 2 witnesses that you just heard now, okay, I'm going to ask you to please call in 973-321-1579. I still hear background, so I don't know who that is, but I hear it. Very, 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 okay, confusing here, really. I mean, I'm trying to talk and I'm hearing background, so please, 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 please turn everything off. All right. The meeting ID number is 711-680-001. And again, these are questions strictly for the 2 witnesses. Again, you'll have time at the end to make your comments. I will allow 2 minutes for call-ins and 3 minutes for questions. 3 minutes, okay? Thank you.
Okay, Chairwoman Northup, in the interim, while we wait for callers, I'd like to start with my first caller. My name is Margarita Maggie Vega. I'd like to call Eva Thomas. Are you there, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, I have Chairwoman Northup on the line. She will guide you from here. Thank you for your call.
Yes.
Eva?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, good. All right, do you have questions for these 2 witnesses?
I do have a question for the architect, Mr. Nazir. He indicated that...
Could you please place your address on the record?
Yes, please state your name and address for the record, Eva.
My name is Eva, EVA, Thomas, THOMAS, and my address is 30 East 34th Street and Paterson.
Thank you. Okay, your question is for the architect, Mr. Nasser?
Yes, it is. He indicated that the school would be for 2nd and 3rd grade only. Is that correct?
Mr. Nasser?
That's the intention to accommodate second and third graders, but I believe Mr. Reiser, the principal, can elaborate on that further.
Okay, I believe that I thought it was from kindergarten to fourth grade, so, Mr. Reiser will have to, Ms. Thomas, can you wait and save your question? Okay, do you have any other questions?
Not for the architect.
Okay, and do you have anything for Mr. Walker? All right, so then, Maggie?
Thank you. I will ask now. Yes, thank you very much, Chairwoman Northup. I will now ask to speak to Mr. McDuffie. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
How are you? Can you please state your name and address for the public?
This is Ron McDuffie. The address is 42 East 34th Street.
42 what?
East 34th.
Spell your last name?
McDuffie.
Thank you. Chairwoman?
Yes, Mr. McDuffie, do you have a question for the architect or for Mr. Walker? Okay, is it for the architect? Okay. Mr. Nasser?
Yes, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay, there you go. Please state your question, Mr. McDuffie.
I couldn't really see the diagram there, but it looks like on 34th Street, you're going to install a sidewalk, and there really isn't a sidewalk there now. And I saw some striping, I guess, to indicate no parking in certain sections, like the entrance to that canopy. But what about the rest of the sidewalk? Will that allow cars to park curbside parking? Is that going to be parallel parking, or head-in parking, or no parking?
This is actually a question to the site engineer.
Okay, Mr. Walker, right?
Yes.
Mr. Walker, please go ahead.
Yeah, so currently there's perpendicular parking that parks directly head into our site in that particular area. So that parking, there's approximately 10 parking spaces that will be removed in order to provide a nice pedestrian access within that area. So as you can see in this exhibit, there are the perpendicular parking spaces. Those spaces will be removed, and that will allow room for a sidewalk, and it'll also allow room for 6 or 7 drop-off and pick-up parking spaces that our traffic engineer is going to talk about in more detail.
My question is more for the public parking, not necessarily for the pickup and drop-off. I just right across the street from that, and I just want to know if I'll be able to park across the street.
No, there will not be public parking across the street anymore. That will be removed as a part of our application.
We're not impacting the neighbor's parking. I think there's a misunderstanding.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Mark, we're not, I think it's referring to his parking on his street inside.
Yeah, the parking that I'm referring to is directly adjacent to our site on 34th Street. We're not impacting any parking on the opposite side of the street from our site.
I mean, apparently, I thought that would be a public parking there. That's why I'm asking, really the public parking now should be a sidewalk and no more parking for the general public?
Well, that part of those parking spaces, those perpendicular parking spaces, are actually on the subject property today. So those are not public parking spaces. They may have been used at night as public parking spaces, but those spaces are partially on the subject property.
Okay, now before we get to the sidewalk there, so there won't be any type of parking perpendicular, no parallel parking, I guess.
There'll be parallel drop-off and pick-up parking spaces.
Mr. Walker, I believe, Mr. McDuffie is trying to ascertain whether are you taking away any spaces in the street that may affect their parking in the neighborhood?
I haven't examined the parking in the neighborhood. I think Mr. Simoff could discuss that maybe more in detail. He's looked at the traffic flows, patterns, and parking throughout the site. I do know that those parking spaces were built as part of this site plan, as for a commercial site plan. And part of the parking space on the property, so they're partially in the public right of way and partially on the private property. And as part of this application, that situation will be cleaned up by removing those spaces, providing a necessary sidewalk that will allow drop off and pick up children to allow them to get access to the main gate.
Mr. Walker, if I
Excuse me, I would like to make this very clear, and I must interrupt you, sir, you have your text messages on the website, please remove them, and even though they were removed, I put it on record that they were made available. Do you understand that?
He took it down, no worries.
I
Okay,
understand, but I just put it as secretary that they were there.
okay, so, okay, somebody's got some background on, here we go again, I'm hearing background noise. Okay, so I wanna know if Mr. McDuffie's answer has, Mr. Maricano, were you starting to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to maybe clarify one other element of that answer in question. Mr. Walker, is that area which we are now designating as you described it on our site plan, is that an area where members of the public or neighbors could utilize that space during off hours when the school is closed, or will this site plan render that not possible?
That's my question.
Mr. Walker?
Mr. Walker's mic is off, sorry.
I do have the floor, are you ready? You have the floor?
No.
I think potentially that those spaces could be used on off hours when the school's not using them, or within the public right of way. The school's not open, they could be available to the general public.
So that would obviously be something that the school and any neighbors could work with to have a mutual understanding on, is that correct?
Right, the general public would have to understand that cars would have to be out of there in the morning, so it would be difficult for them to park all night long and into the morning, and take up those spaces.
Understood.
Okay, so, all right, does that answer your question, Mr. McDuffie?
Oh, no, not really. I do see the yellow marking where right in front of the canopy, they reserve that spot for drop off and pick up. But to the left of those markings, there's just a sidewalk. I just want to know, are the cars, can I park it on the weekend?
Before, excuse me, I apologize, Mr. McDuffie, I will only say this one more time. Someone has your television on, you have to stop. Shut your mic off. It's so disrupting, I can't hear him, neither can the court recorder. It's disruptive.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Walker,
And I can say,
Mr. Walker, did you hear that last question?
I did. I think we answered it previously that they could park there with the understanding that the cars can't be within those parking spaces in the morning when the school is operating.
Correct.
There's a line of cars that were gonna come in to drop off in the morning, and they need that entire space to facilitate their drop off and in the afternoon their pickup.
All right, Mr. McDuffie, I believe they answered your question. If you have any other questions, please ask it now so we can move forward.
I think I really one more point. I understand the marking that.
Wait, hold on a minute. Maggie,
May I say who it is, and with all due respect, Mr. Walker, it is your interruption, can you? I need to, but I don't think I can, but it's you, according to what I understand.
Maggie, I'm beginning to think it could be someone calling in, has background noise on, but anyway, let's just get Mr. McDuffie's next question because it's really very, very, very distracting. So let's just move forward. Mr. McDuffie, can you hear me? Please ask your next question.
Yes. Okay, my question is this way. That area that does not have the yellow marking, will I be able to park there overnight next to that sidewalk?
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Okay, is that it? Mr. McDuffie, is that it?
Yeah, see right there, that yellow marking, perfect.
Okay.
Marking, coming back towards me, will I be able to park along that sidewalk?
Yes.
Overnight?
Yes.
Whenever you want.
Not whenever you want. That's the area when they're dropping off and picking up. We're going to have a lot more testimony on this with our traffic engineer. I think what we should do is move on, and if you have any further questions, he can handle that for you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McDuffie. Okay, Madam, thank you, you're welcome. Madam Secretary, is there any other callers that have a question?
I have Darlene Lee, it's not Margarita Vega, are you there, Darlene Lee?
This is not for comments, only for questions.
Darlene Lee, this is Margarita Vega, the board secretary, are you there, ma'am? Please unmute you. Are you there?
All right, Maggie, I'm gonna move on.
I have another caller, I have
No, she's here. Here.
Darlene Lee, are you here, ma'am?
Yes, I'm here. I'm just on my.
Okay, before you continue, I asked you to mute your, television, can you do so?
It is. It's on mute.
Okay, thank you. You may continue.
All right, so please state your name and your address for the record.
Darlene Lee, 42 East 34th Street.
Okay, you have a question for either for Mr. Walker or for Mr. Nasser?
Yes, I just have a question. I'm not sure who can answer it. Most of it was about the parking and how they're going to set up, will there be additional parking for the neighborhood or for me, and how they plan to keep it clean.
All right, that's not for either one of these. Where we're gonna that question will be saved for the end. That's not for either one of these witnesses. I'm sorry. Okay, so it'll be answered by another. Just hang on the phone. Don't go anywhere. But we can't answer that right now.
Another question.
For either one of these witnesses.
For the construction, what are the hours for construction?
That would be something the applicant would have to address.
Yes, so you'll have to hold those questions, I'm sorry, till we talk to the applicant.
Actually, the city ordinance has a ordinance about construction. You can ask the city clerk.
Yes, but I think too that they'll probably be able to answer it through here if she just waits on the line, but these witnesses are not able to answer those particular questions. Okay, so can you hang on the line with your questions?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Madam Secretary, are there any others?
There is one more. We're having him logging in at this moment. Can I have 30 seconds, please?
No, I'm gonna move it on. I'll take his question. You can log on. I'm gonna take the questions from our board. All right, so are there any commissioners on the board, okay, who have any questions of either one of these witnesses?
I have a question. Alderman Brooks, I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Brooks, go ahead.
I think Mr. Walker, maybe, I don't know, Mr. Nasser. Looking at the plans that you showed 2 handicap parking spaces. What are those handicap parking spaces for? Is it for the staff or is it for visitors that's coming into the school? What are they for, and why are they located where you are? Because it seems like they're handy.
I think Mr. Walker should address that. For anyone who might need a handicap space, whether it be a visitor or a faculty member, either one. Mr. Walker?
Yes, so under the ADA requirements, which administers handicap accessibility, they have certain codes and requirements. So for the first 25 parking spaces that you have, there's one handicap parking space that's required. And then for the next 25 parking spaces you have, there's an additional handicap parking space required. So in this instance, we have 39 parking spaces. So we're in that requirement where we need 2 handicap parking spaces. So it's a ratio of total cars to handicap parking spaces.
Madam Chair?
Now the location, this is the flattest area. We have to make sure that we do not have a cross slope during the accessibility path that exceeds 2%. So this was the ideal location because as we get closer to the front door, we have a ramp and a slope that goes up. So this is the ideal location that would provide the accessibility that the code is looking for.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it, Commissioner Brooks?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I heard Commissioner Ceballos.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Number 9, how many buses are we expecting to see coming to the site any given day?
How many buses, sir?
I don't know answer that, but the applicant I can offer to you will testify that there are 2 buses owned by the applicant to be utilized on this facility. They would have a capacity each of 54 seats, but we will have the applicant confirm that during his testimony.
Okay, for the parking lot issue, any type of event, evening, weekends events that the parents, the students, they come to the place and they need to have place to park. Any consideration on the parking space for any kind of event that the school may have?
Well, we have very substantial parking. I think you would know, Mr. Ceballos, compared to other charter schools that are approved in the city. However, again, I have to defer to the applicant to see if this site will be used for any after-hour special events related to the school. He has to answer that.
Okay, and the commission later, actually lay out on number 12. I don't usually speak during presentations or again as I come to the city, but number 12, he does speak and the excellence of the work that you do. And I appreciate that you bring in the commissioner something that we can look at it and really appreciate it.
Thank you. Anything else, Commissioner?
That's it for now. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions by any other commissioner? Okay.
Commissioner Odin.
Odin, yes, Commissioner Odin, please.
I can address this question to any of these witnesses today. Anyone can answer this question. Yes, in one slide, they show the picture of a fencing. I mean, I'm not sure, would there be fencing around the building or just the front? If they could cover or discuss in details about security fencing.
I think that would be Mr. Walker as well.
Sure, so we have fencing across the entire front of the property, and there's gates that allow the vehicles ingress and egress in and out of the parking lot. And then we also have fencing around the entire perimeter. I don't know if you can see on this exhibit. We have fencing around the entire perimeter of the property that will prevent people from basically coming into the site. It's a preventative measure.
So just to clarify, it covers all 4 sides of the building?
So on the, I guess on the south side of the building, the fencing from the playground area just extends into the side of the building at that location. But on the south side of the north side of the building where the alleyway is, the fencing runs parallel with the building all the way down to East 35th Street. And then there's a gate for the alleyway and the dumpster, coming down to East 35th Street.
Alright, okay. So, I'm asking the same question multiple times just to clarify that, no kid can go to the street, to any other direction if the gates are closed. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Alright, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, this is it for now.
Okay, any other commissioners? Okay, no other commissioners, I still hear background noise. Madam Secretary, do you have that caller on the line that may have a question?
His name, yes, I do. His name is Kenneth Holloway. Are you there? This is Margarita Vega, the board secretary. Are you there, Mr. Holloway?
Yes, I'm here with my wife, Pamela Holloway.
Okay, first you will speak. Please mute your television. You're online. Chairwoman Northrop?
Yes, please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Kenneth Holloway. I'm here with my wife, Pamela Holloway. My address is 50 East 34th Street, Paterson, New Jersey. I'm adjacent exactly across the street from the site there.
Okay, your question I'm not taking comments right now. They'll have time at the end. I'm only taking questions for the architect and Mr. Walker, the planner.
Okay.
The engineer.
I'm looking at the plan here. It's very nice and the change and added with the sidewalk. The first, where you flipping the parking spots in, is a sewer drain right there. That sewer drain floods. Only one drain on this block, on this side. That's something you have to consider about fixing, because it floods and back up in the whole area before you do your abatement and change things around. That's one concern. Yeah. Secondly, when you run the awning and the driveway leads up the awning, that leads exactly in front of my house. Exactly in front. And you were saying about the drop and pickup. I know for a fact, for sure, that's going to become a problem with people dropping off and parking in front of my house and dropping off and blocking my driveway. That's going to be a big problem. So, with myself and some of the residents that live on this block, we'd like to, if got to do it, maybe at some point consider maybe permit parking around here, because we know there's going to be a problem with parking here in this area. So that I can come on and make park right in front of my driveway. That driveway is right in front of my house. Exactly.
Well, the permit would not be done by this board, permit parking, but that can be discussed with someone down in City Hall. Yeah, definitely. Would anyone, I don't really hear a question there. I understand it's a concern. I'm hoping that the applicant will take the sewer, especially the sewer thing, into consideration and look into that.
Yes, we'll look into the storm sewer. It's Mark Walker. We'll look into the storm sewer. And again, all of the drop off and pickup will happen on our side of the street. There'll be no blocking of driveways on the opposite side of the street. So I hope that answers your question.
That's
any other questions
right now.
Okay, Mr. Holloway.
Where's the drop off exactly? I just have a question. Where's the drop off exactly? Is it directly in front of our house? Is it in our neighbor's house next door? We just want to identify where the drop off is, because we know the traffic is going to be coming in and you have an exit and an entrance. We just want to know where the drop off is. And since we were told, just as you explained, that 3 of the driveways would be affected by the entrance and the exit from the building. So we want to know if we are one of the driveways. I suspect, based on where we're located, we are.
No. Sure, we're going to bring up the site plan. The 3 driveways that are affected are driveways for the parking lot. So here's the front parking lot. these cars that were showing, the white car, yellow car, white car, green car, gray car, white car, those are all cars lined up to drop off and pick up. And I believe you live on the opposite side of the street. As you can see, the drop off and pickup is only gonna take place in front of the subject property. We're not gonna block anybody's adjacent driveways.
Okay.
Mr. Holloway, do you have any other questions?
At this time, no, because I think I said a whole other meeting, so we can delve more.
Yeah, we're gonna fly other witnesses, so you may wanna just sit back and hear if there's any questions of further witnesses.
Right, because I was wondering when the proposal start of the project would begin, and is there a time frame? If there's going to be reconstruction, and so
That's gonna be,
time frame.
yeah, that would be the other witnesses. So we'll get to that, and you can save your questions, and, if you don't have any other questions at this time, we're gonna move forward, okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right, good. All right, so, no questions, okay, so I'm gonna ask Mr. Maricondo to please call your next witness.
Yes, thank you. We'll call him.
Wait, I'm sorry, let me just ask one more thing. We have no other questions of our commissioners, correct? Okay, I don't hear any, so yes, please call your next witness.
Surely, Mr. Halsema.
Yes.
Please raise your hand. Ms. Lopez, go ahead.
Do you affirm that the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
State your full name for the record.
My name is Hal Simoff, Simoff.
Mr. Simoff, would you give us your professional background and experience before planning and zoning board?
Yes, I've been qualified before this board over the years. I'm a licensed professional engineer and a licensed professional planner.
Okay, thank you very much. We accept him as an expert witness. Mr. Maricondo?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Simoff, obviously you've had the opportunity to hear all the testimony given and questions this evening, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I know you've had an opportunity to visit this site in great detail and prepared a report submitted to Mr. Deutsch. I'll let you proceed with your testimony in regard to this project.
Yes, let me start off by saying what we did is we were lucky we were hired before the pandemic, so we did our traffic counts before the pandemic. And we counted the intersection of 11th Avenue and 34th Street and 35th Street. And then what we did after we developed the existing traffic volumes, we analyzed the projected traffic volumes that would be generated from we used the 300, because that was the original plan. We used a student base of 300 for a grammar school. We assigned those cars to the existing roadways, and then we reanalyzed the intersections at 34th and 35th. My calculations have been confirmed by your city traffic engineer, and the assumptions that I made, I think, have been borne out in his review of January 6th that was sent to Michael Deutsch. The other question, as I sit here and listen to the questions and the comments, the intent was to have 7 cars being able to pick up and drop off adjacent to the curb on the east side of 34th Street. And as you all know, 34th is one-way southbound. So the comment from the traffic engineering department suggests that we should take away a couple parking spaces where the driveways to the site are proposed so that they're not blocked. But the original intention, the way we developed our concept, was that the gates to the parking lot would be closed during drop-off and pickup. And because that's just basically for students for teachers and staff that are on site. So once the drop-off and pickup begin, there's no need for staff to be entering and exiting the site.
So we wanted to take advantage of as much space as we could to allow for pickup and drop off. And I might also add that the pickup and drop off is going to be controlled by staff, so that the staff will walk the children into the building. And so it's a clear control of the activity. And the other comment that I'd like to make as we examine this analysis, the drop-off would be occurring, say, between approximately 7 or 7:15 till 8 in the morning, and the pickup is starting around 3 o'clock, 3:20, and will go for an hour or so, so that the school is in need of those 7 spaces, or the 6 spaces, if we accept the traffic engineer's comment, for an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, or in the late afternoon. And based on that, the other times, the parking spaces could easily be used by people who live in the neighborhood and want to visit like on weekends, want to visit across the street. So I don't see that as a problem. And the other questions that have been raised by the traffic engineering department are easily, I can answer those questions. They're on a technical basis, and I can answer that question directly with the traffic engineer rather than try to explain it. But basically, the level of service, which is the quality of traffic flow before and after the development of the school, will not change. What you have out there today is what we're going to have out there after the school is built. And it's effectively, it's an assignment of an existing industrial building to a permitted use. I'm open for any questions or comments.
Thank you on your testimony. With regard to your analysis that you presented both by report and this evening, your consideration took into account the proposed hours of the drop-off and pickups, I'm sure, right?
Yes.
Right. And in terms of the traffic impact, drop-offs that occur in the morning up till 8 a.m. With regard to this number of students, where buses are utilized that are owned by the applicant, and a combination of parental drop-offs, perhaps walk-ups because of the neighborhood availability of this school, and perhaps public transportation. What is your opinion about the ability of this site to function smoothly in that regard?
There's no question that with proper supervision, which I think the school is prepared to provide, because the staff will greet the children at the curb and walk them into the building. That makes this a smooth operation and logistically a safe operation. You're muted.
You're muted. Mr. Marcondo, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Okay, that would occur also at the end of the school day as well, the same process, is that right?
Yes, the walkway on the south side of the property allows for cover from the rain and snow. It allows a staging area for the students to be prepared for their parents to pick them up.
And the ability to use a parking lot of this nature and size in terms of scope of number of spaces, how does this impact this site?
Well, effectively, we have 39 spaces with a staff of 20 approximately. And so the remainder is going to be for parent visitors and daytime activity. But during the pickup and drop off for the hour in the morning and the hour in the afternoon, we propose that access to the parking lot be closed to take advantage of the full curb length along 34th Street for pickup and drop off.
Understood. And again, the pickup is, in the afternoon hours will not coincide, according to our testimony, with what we commonly call rush hour, 4:30 to 6.
No, in my report, I talk about that. We counted, in the morning, we counted from 7 to 9 in the morning, and then in the afternoon, we counted from 3 to 6. And those hours, the peak hour of the roadway do not conflict with the peak hour of the school.
Okay. Commissioner Savalos had indicated in his opening question that, of course, your report is very extensive, and he wanted to make sure that he had a full understanding of your report based on his testimony. I think you've covered the essence of it in your testimony, but of course, you'll be available for any questions at this time. Is that correct?
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Mariconda, you have another witness after Mr. Simov. Thank you, Mr. Simov. You have another, witness?
We have the applicant himself, yes.
I'd like to then put him on as well now, okay? And then I'll open it up to the public for questions, okay?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Mr. Riza?
Good evening. Please raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
State your full name for the record.
Ali Riza Gökhanlı.
Okay, Mr. Riza, what is your position with Paterson Charter School for Science and Technology?
I am the lead person of Paterson Charter School for Science and Technology, which is similar to the superintendent in the traditional public schools.
Okay, and we referred to earlier the fact that there's a board of directors or trustees. That's the only ownership entity, is that correct?
Yes, Board of Trustees are the only entity.
Okay, and give us your background and experience with regard to the Paterson Charter School program.
Paterson Charter School for Science and Technology is the longest serving charter school in Paterson. This is our 18 years of operation. Currently, we are conducting our operations in 3 separate campuses, one in downtown Paterson, one in Wabash Avenue, and one in West Railway Avenue. So we are serving K through 12 in those 3 campuses. We have a total of 1,536 students currently attending our school. And this campus will be our 4th campus, and we are planning to accommodate 2nd and 3rd graders in this building.
Okay, so the original concept was a little broader in terms of number of grades, but you found that the need and suitability is for 2nd and 3rd graders here.
Yes, our ideal plan to have elementary, middle school, and high school in separate buildings, but unfortunately there wasn't available facility or venue. But this came up, and which will be perfect for accommodating 2nd and 3rd graders.
Okay, very good. And with regard to this site, will you be one of the principal parties responsible for this day-to-day operation?
I will be overseeing the day-to-day operations, and I will have my assistant in the building at all times.
Okay. And give us your hours of operation, if you would, at this site proposed.
So our teachers are contracted to be at the school between 7:40 till 3:40 every day, and students are expected to be in the building by 8 o'clock to start on time, and they are dismissed about 3:20.
Okay, so your teachers will be committed to being there 20 minutes before the students have to be in, and how will the process work with respect to the drop-off in terms of your staff's involvement with that process?
So we will allocate duties for existing staff members to be available at the front under the canopy to receive the students as they arrive, and they will escort them to the building, and they will proceed from there.
Okay, and the process would repeat itself at the end of the school day?
Yes.
Okay, and that's Monday through Friday, right?
Correct.
right? Is any area of the parking lot that's going to be utilized for staff going to be utilized for any drop-off or pickup for students?
Not for drop-off and pick-up, no.
Right. But that lot is available if parents need to come in during the day for whatever reason or other visitors.
Yes.
And that's obviously a very substantial lot, more than what your teachers might need on a given day, is that right?
Correct. And also there was a question about after-hour events and meetings, so that's our plan to utilize our own parking lot to accommodate guests or parents in the building.
Okay, and based on your extensive experience in this area, what would you anticipate might be the likelihood of events occurring at the school after 3:20? There will be some after-school activities, assuming we're in a more normal time frame, vis-a-vis the pandemic.
Yes, after the pandemic, we normally offer club activities for our students who choose to stay after school. They may have club activities, and also every quarter we do conduct report card nights for parents. On certain nights they come and meet with the teachers.
Okay. So that would be every 2 or 3 months?
4 times a year.
Right. Okay, and that would be, I assume, on a staggered basis, so the parking lot could meet the needs of the parents and the teachers?
Yes, that's our plan, to make sure we are not impacting the neighborhood with our parents' parking.
Okay, and this regular school day would end at 3:20, that's pretty firm, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. The other locations, go ahead, I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
Actually, the buses, they need to be picking the students at that time, so they are assigned to arrive at that time to pick up students.
Right, so please, if you could, just refresh us on that as well. You will be utilizing 2 larger buses?
Yes.
Explain how big they are and how they'll function.
They accommodate 54 students each.
Right.
And they just drop them in the morning, they don't park. And in the afternoon they come 10 or 15 minutes before the pickup time. As soon as all the kids are in, they depart.
And those buses do not stay in the neighborhood at night, is that right?
No. We don't own the buses.
Okay. I think that would cover your testimony. Of course, if for any questions, you'll be available.
Thank you.
I have one quick question, because I know it was asked by the public. I know you don't know the exact date of this construction, because you have to get permits, but I know you're going to be refurbishing that space. Can you tell me approximately when the construction of that space will begin?
We are planning to start sometime in March if everything goes well. And our goal is to make it ready for September.
For September. Okay. All right. So at this time, I'm going to open it up to the public. And once again, I'm going to remind everyone that these are questions for Mr. Simoff and Mr. Rizza. And just give me a moment, I'm trying to get my papers together for the quorum. All right, so if anyone in the public has any questions of either of these 2 people or both, okay, please call in at 973-321-1579. The ID number is 711-680-001. If you just have comments, please save them to the end, you will have time to make them. So I'll allow 2 minutes for call-in and 3 minutes for your question. Okay. Madam Secretary.
Yes, Chairwoman Northrop, we'll begin again with Mrs. Eva Thomas. Are you there? This is Margaret Vega. You may continue. Chairwoman?
Yes, please, Ms. Thomas.
Ms. Thomas, are you there?
Please go on to the next caller.
Okay, we'll start with, Mr. McDuffie, Ron McDuffie, are you there, sir? Okay, hold on. Mr. McDuffie?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Who am I speaking with? Is Eva Thomas available?
I am, can you hear me, madam?
Yes, I do. May continue. Mr. Duffy, please wait. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Thomas, did you, please state your name. Wait, please state your name again.
My name is Eva Thomas. I reside at 30 East 34th Street in Paterson.
Okay, please go ahead.
And my question is directed at Mr. Simoff. Indicated that the quality of the traffic flow will not be changed in the community. And my question specifically is, how can that possibly be if there's going at least possibly 300 children with drop-off by bus, drop-off by parents between the hours of 7 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning? How could that not impact the quality of the traffic flow as it is right now?
I mean, obviously, we will be adding traffic, but approximately 100 of the 300 students would be arriving by bus on 35th Street. And then the rest of the students would arrive by drop-off or walking from the neighborhood. We projected 100 cars dropping off during the 1 hour in the morning, and those 100 cars would be spread out over an assembly hour of about 40 minutes, and with 7 parking spaces, it will function. Because it's interesting, the concept and the way the applicant proposes to operate is that the parents never get out of the car. They just, the student is escorted into the building. And so with that aspect of it, when we add those 100 cars over a 60-minute or a 40-minute period, we're talking about on the order of 1 car every 2 minutes. It's not a significant number of an increase.
On a one-way street, you don't think that that's significant for 1 hour?
Well, the numbers that I might add that the numbers that I projected and the analysis that I performed has been confirmed by the traffic engineering department. And as I said, an addition of 1 car every 2 minutes or 1 car every minute and a half is not a significant increase. The capacity of the roadway is on the order of 1,000 cars an hour. So we're not anywhere near capacity.
Thank you. Thomas, do you have another question?
No, madam. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay, you're welcome. Okay, Mr. McDuffie, I believe you're on the line.
Yes, this is Ron McDuffie again. My question would be, at the intersection of 11th Ave and 34th Street, or 11th Ave and 35th Street, will they be installing a traffic light for the children if they decide to walk to school? What about the crosswalks, or if anybody decides to walk to school?
Well, we have access mid-block on 11th Avenue between 34th and 35th, where the students could, from the neighborhood, be able to access the site. And then we have to, work with the city in determining their comfort level as to, having, there are some of the intersections already have crosswalks, but, we have to work with the city to develop a plan for crossing with students.
You're referring to a crossing guard possibility then, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Whether that's provided by the school.
Back up, so cars trying to.
No, there will be, based on the numbers that we projected and based on the analysis, there's virtually no change in the backup.
How's that possible when you put in the cars? I see no change. Maybe a slight change. You can't say no change.
Yeah, I was just saying, it is a slight change. The,
I don't trust you.
well, the average, on 34th Street southbound, the average weight today, based on the calculations, is about 11 seconds per car. The average per car. And that number will go to 16 seconds. So it is, I'm not suggesting that there's no change, but it is a minor change.
I said, look at the traffic. Cars go back up, they get back up. They're going to be able to get through this. People are going to let you through now. That's right.
Well, I'm saying my numbers and my counts have been confirmed by the city, the independent city engineering department, traffic engineer.
Mr. McDuffie, I believe he answered your question, so if you have another question, please?
No, I'm not right now. Thank you.
Okay, all right, you're welcome. All right, Madam Secretary, is there anyone else on the line?
Jolene, are you there? This is Margarita Vega. Hello?
All right,
Are you there? Mrs. Lee, if you can hit *6, you can unmute yourself. Can you do that?
Okay, I'm gonna open it up to the commissioners until we can get somebody else back on the line. Okay,
Sorry.
who's that?
Hello?
Who is talking at this time, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, this is Lee, sorry, just something.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Mrs. Lee, wait, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Darlene Lee, 42 East 34th Street.
Please proceed.
Okay, I live pretty much directly across from where the building is, and I just want to, again, ask the question about this drop-off and pickup. Exactly where will the drop-off and pickup be, 34th, or will the bus be 34th or 35th?
Buses will be on 35th. The parent drop-off will be on 34th.
Okay, and with the parent drop-off, I know you said that there's going to be no traffic, but are you taking consideration that we already have a strip mall here that has a extensive amount of traffic in the morning as well, and it's a one-way street? And will someone be there to direct will the parents be getting out the car, or someone from the building be directing the parents as they drop off their children?
I believe they've already stated for the record that there would be teachers there, taking the children into the school and so forth and so on. Am I correct, Mr. Simoff?
Yes.
Yeah, he did, but I mean, as far as directing, will the parents park, get out, and just walk to the buses, or?
No, they're not getting out.
Okay.
It's been testified on the record, they're not getting out.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Madam Secretary, is there any other callers?
We have no more calls.
Okay, so I'm gonna open it up, I'm gonna open this up to the,
One more question to Mr. Ryan IT, Kenneth Holloway. Are you there, sir? Gonna call you one more time, Kenneth Holloway. If you hung up, you have no time to speak or call in at the end. Thank you very much.
okay, so commissioners, do any of the commissioners have any questions? I see, Commissioner, please, I'll get you one moment. These questions are for Mr. Simoff and, Mr. Rizza. Mr. Rizza, I can pronounce your first name better than my last, so I apologize. All right, so, okay, so, Commissioner, please ask your question.
My question is for Mr. Simoff. You said that the traffic study was done before the pandemic. Do you know exactly when it was done?
Yes, it was done in February of this year.
And what time of the day was it done?
It was done, well, January 29th and 30th, as well as February 3rd. So it was the end of January, beginning of February. The morning counts were all done between 7 and 9 a.m. So they were able to pick up the roadway peak hour and then the anticipated peak hour of the drop-off. And the afternoon counts were started at 3 o'clock and they were carried through till 6 p.m.
Do you know if they took into consideration the other 3 schools in the area, Don Bosco on 11th Ave, Public School number 26, and Public School number 1 that is on East 32nd Street, and the Dunkin' Donuts that is on East 33rd Street, and as the caller said, you have that strip mall there that's right there on 34th Street. That is mega traffic. So, do you know if they took all of that into consideration?
Yes, the counts took into consideration all the traffic.
Okay. And also, someone answered the question about the time frame. It's going to be, the construction is going to start in March and hopefully be completed by September. What are the hours during the day? Are they going to begin in the morning? Because I know we have an ordinance that says that you're not supposed to start between a certain time and they should end at a certain time. Do you know what those do you know what those requirements are?
I don't think that's within Mr. Simoff's domain, I don't believe. Is that true, Al? I think
That's not my, it's above my pay grade.
Right.
But the applicant is certainly an experienced developer of charter school development in the city of Paterson, and he will be guided by his general contractor. We will comply with all city building and safety codes with regard to hours compliance. It will be strictly in accordance with what the city building department permits.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Those are my questions.
Madam Chair.
Hey, Commissioner Dean.
Excuse me, Commissioner Swallows asked.
Yes. I believe, following the commissioner statement, an ordinance started by the city of Paterson from 9 to 4. That there have to be any contractor that comes to the city should look into that ordinance. I'm very sure, but you can check again with city clerk office from 9 to 4.
We'll certainly comply with that, Commissioner Swallows.
Yes. Okay.
Certainly comply.
Thank you.
9 to 4, what hours go?
Mr. Acquaviva, would that be a condition or something that I should look into as well, or no?
Well, it really doesn't have to be conditioned because you're bound by the ordinance anyway in terms of the times that they can have construction during the day. So we don't we never add that in as a condition.
Yeah.
It's a user's room.
That would be great if Mr. Maricano could supply me with a copy, that'd be great for the file.
You might be able to get that ordinance faster than me from the building department, but I will try.
No, I will do that for you, thank you.
I'll try.
I believe, Commissioner Dean had a question?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a couple questions to Superintendent. Sure. I'm sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong. Sorry. So you ended your conversation about the school transportation. The school will have 2 buses, as you have mentioned. But my question to you is the transportation will be provided to all the students who's living nearby the school or far from the school? Or is any certain rule be established for school transportation?
Okay, school transportation is something we work with the Paterson Board of Education, and they are providing our students the bus services, so they have a way of calculation to identify those individuals who are eligible to ride the bus. So we work with the Paterson Board of Education to identify those students. So if they are living close by, I believe it is less than mile and a half, they are not eligible for the bus. So whoever lives beyond the perimeter are eligible to run the bus, and we will provide bus transportation for all eligible students.
Alright, so yes, kind of the same rule as public school. So can I go for my second question? So you may have to expect a lot of students may want to register at your school and maybe more than your capacity. At that case, what would be the screening process of registration? How would you select the students who should be registered or not?
We already have established protocols which are governed by the state of New Jersey, so we cannot discriminate by any means to identify students. What we do is we give priority to Paterson residents, and within Paterson residents, we give another priority for the existing students as siblings. So we normally receive 1,900 or 2,000 applications every year, and we draw a random lottery with the witnessed by the school attorney and the Rotary, public Rotary notary is available. So we conduct a random lottery system to identify students.
Here, I have a couple other questions, if you don't mind. Can I go for it, Madam Chair? Alright, so what about the teachers who teach a charter school? I mean, is it recruited by Teach for America or certified teachers? Any parties to local teachers?
Sure. Charter schools, as you know, are public schools. Different than traditional public schools, but we are public school and we are bound by all the rules and regulations that traditional schools are bounded. And any teacher who wants to teach in our school should hold a New Jersey teaching certification. And in our hiring process, again, we do not discriminate, and we try to recruit people from everywhere, including Paterson. And we currently have teachers who live close by, who lives in Paterson residents, and I even have teachers coming far away.
Alright, thank you. And one more question, probably this is the last question. Is there any plan for Title I money?
We are already a Title I school. We do provide school-wide Title I program to all our students. We already received Title I grants.
Okay,
Alright, thank you, Superintendent. I wish you good luck. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions from any other commissioners? commissioners? Okay, hearing none? Okay, Mr. Maricondo, are you calling anyone else?
That would conclude our testimony.
Do you want to summarize?
Sure. At this point, we'll submit to the board. We appreciate the fact that we've had a full opportunity to express a very clear definition of what this program is about. As you can see, this is an experienced charter school program. This is an opportunity to serve more students in a very suitable setting, if I can use that term, in terms of its location and its ability to provide public transportation, an extremely efficient drop-off and parking lot, which I dare say is probably the most expansive parking lot I've seen for any of the charter school applications in the city. As Mr. Riza indicated, charter schools are directly in line with the public school program. The quality of education, the quality of teaching is based on New Jersey state guidelines. This is an excellent opportunity to serve this neighborhood. There will be a substantial amount of walk-up, I'm sure, but again, the public transportation that's provided and the parent drop-off system is very well designed. This is an R1 zone where many of our elementary schools are located throughout the city. This is an area that has functioned with other schools in the area, as was alluded to earlier by one of the commissioners. It has easy access off of Route 20 as well. Frankly, this is a very, very positive charter school application in our opinion, most respectfully. It suits the needs of the area. The variances are extremely narrow and limited and essentially based on existing conditions as per Mr. Walker's testimony. We're not expanding a building. In fact, we're removing a commercial vacant warehouse, which is the most unsuitable use for the R1 zone, and providing a use that is directly intertwined with the residential neighborhood. The school is an inherently beneficial use to the R1 neighborhood by case law and statute, and the state of New Jersey has recognized that the burden of proof with regard to this type of application is not as overwhelming as it might be in other circumstances or other uses in the R1 zone. That's why we are before the planning board. We respectfully thank the board for its hearing all our witnesses this evening. We also thank the members of the community who came with very good questions. We expect to be a very good neighbor to those residential neighbors, and we expect to keep up the tradition of neighborhood schools that has really made Paterson a positive place in terms of the educational system. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we open it up for any motions, I'm going to go once more to the public to ask them if they have any comments. This is we're not going to be asking questions of the witnesses. This is simply to make a comment. And for anyone who may still be on the line, I will give them 3 minutes to make their point. Okay, is there anyone on the line that would like to do that? Madam Secretary?
I am ready. So right now we're going to call our first, Eva Thompson. Are you there? Eva Thompson?
I see Eva Thomas. I see she's on the line. It looks like she's on the line, but she's muted. Then again,
You gotta give me a second, Cheryl.
Yep, and then just give me comments. That's it, 3 minutes.
She knows that. They all do. I spoke to them individually.
Okay.
For Mrs. Thomas. Okay, she'll be on the second for 1 moment.
I am Eva Thomas, and I reside at 30 East 34th Street in Paterson. And I just want to go on record to state that I'm really concerned about the changes that I'll see coming in my community, our community. See that there's going to be increased pollution. I see that there's going to be increased traffic, increased noise, and that really will change the quality of life on this street in my community. So I'm really, really concerned about that. The building that has been purchased was a business. However, the traffic was very, very small. Well, it does not compare to what I see that's coming. And another thing that I would like to go on record is I'm concerned that the project was without input. He made aware of this until a letter came late or early January, so that is a concern for me, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on the line?
Yes, I do. I also have, excuse me? Hello, anyone else there? So I would like you to mute your mic off as well, so we're gonna go back to Darlene Lee. Not, we will go to, Mr., excuse me? I know, but I was gonna leave you for last, sir, so I can get her to connect. But if you'd like to continue, let me have you connect with Mr. Ron Duffy while I connect with Darlene Lee. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
I think it's a technical difficulty that you have to unmute yourself. You can't simply press mute on the phone. You have to do the *6, and I think that's some instruction they should have gave some of the public. But
I did, sir. I did. I actually text everyone that was calling in. Yes, I have. You earlier? Yes, I have. Well, you were talking at the time, but I did.
Oh, okay, all right then. But Mike, I just want to go on record. I agree with my neighbor Thomas. It will change the community. Number one, the traffic. I have a major concern with the traffic that will now be generated in the area. The pollution, the trash, and the noise that's concerned with that. And I don't feel the school is added to the community, to the residents of the neighborhood. These residents have been in this neighborhood for at least 20 years. And I don't think the school coming in is adding or benefiting the residents of this 2-block area. I think the school benefits those outside of the community more than it does those in the community. I haven't heard them say anything what they're going to do to accommodate the residents or anything along those lines. I don't have any compensation or any consideration for the residents. We get this notice in January, about 2 weeks ago, hey, we're having a meeting. You know, it's going to be video conference, matter of fact. Get on the best you can. You know, I just don't think this is going to benefit me, my family, or my neighbors. That's my concern. I just want to put that on record there. There was no say about who wanted to use the building. Nobody asked us what we thought. I just think it was ran down, and I hope it's not too late to object to the discussion, to approve.
Well, tonight's meeting is for you to object, and we heard all of your objections, so they're all on record. But do you have any other comments you'd like to make?
That is it. I thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay. Do we have anyone else on the line?
Yes, Electric Court, Darlene Lee, are you there? Hello, this is Margaret Vega. Are you there, Darlene Lee?
No comment.
Okay, Darlene Lee, calling once again. You're unmuted. Unmute yourself, *6. Chairwoman North, want to take over?
Yes, I will. Okay, so at this time, Mr. Maricanda gave a summary. We heard from the public. I personally think the school is going to be an attribute. There are several on 11th Avenue, I understand that, but it certainly isn't more than what is in the downtown area of Paterson, and I happen to live on 11th Avenue also. So, in any event, that being said, I would like to ask if any commissioner would like to make a motion on this application.
Madam Chair, before we go to the motion, I have a quick thing to just quote from the application, which is paragraph number 14. The last sentence says, if the cafeteria is to be used as auditorium or gymnasium space, the applicant shall make it known at the public hearing. So is it clarified that they are going to use the cafeteria as gymnasium or
We'll have Mr. Riser comment on that if you wish. We indicated earlier that was a possibility, that there could be some use of the cafeteria for some sort of passive recreational space. But Mr. Riza, what would be your intention in that regard?
That space will be utilized as multi-purpose, mainly for breakfast and lunch. And within school hours, that space will also be utilized as the gym area for students to do their gym classes. And also during school hours, again, students will use that area for assemblies, grade level or class level assemblies to get together in that space.
So it's a multi-purpose room, in effect?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'd love to go for a motion if you want to.
Chairwoman?
I'm sorry, I was muted. Commissioner Eugene, please go ahead. Sorry.
Gotcha, thank you. On the application of Paterson Charter School for Science and Technology, 196 West Road Avenue, Paterson, New Jersey, 07503, property address 32-46 East 35th Street, Block 8307, Lot 2, 633-637 11th Avenue, Block 8207, Lot 4, and 39-53 East 34th Street, Block 8307, Lot 6. I move that the Board Attorney prepare a resolution granting conditional use approval, site plan approval, block variances, subject to city engineer approval and city traffic engineer approval.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Commissioners?
Second.
A second by Commissioner Ceballos. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner, Commissioner Brooks?
No.
Commissioner Ceballos?
Yes.
Commissioner Cleaves?
No.
Excuse me, what was that?
No.
Thank you. Commissioner Santana?
Yes.
Commissioner Eugene?
I said yes.
Commissioner Cook?
I don't think ample time was given, to the resident. I only heard from people on 34th Street, didn't hear from nobody on 35th Street. I'm not sure that ample time was given. My vote is no.
Thank you, Commissioner Cook. And last and only, is Chairwoman Wilson.
Yes.
4 yes and 3 no. Mr. Appleby, what is the vote?
Madam Secretary, the question?
What is the vote? 4 yes and 3 no.
Motion approved.
The application is approved.
Thank you very much. The application of Paterson Charter School of Science, 3246 East 35th Street has been granted. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Congratulations. And do we have any other business tonight, Mr. Deutsch? Mr. Deutsch?
Our next meeting is next Wednesday, which is the 20th of January. A regular meeting. It's a carried matter from the December 16th snowstorm.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Okay. All right, so, I guess I make a motion to close the meeting. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, so we're all good. We close the meeting. Thank you. See everyone then on the next Wednesday meeting.
Everyone.
Good night, everybody. Be safe.
Good night.